Hello and welcome. This is Alchemistexe, and today we are going to be taking a look at Ravina and her job plus. Don't let the video footage mislead you. This is from the 7-step Memento summon, which I decided to end up doing. I didn't get too great of results from it, but I just thought I'd showcase a couple of highlights from it before we get to Ravina. So thanks to Christmas, the timing of this video is pretty bad because it's happening right at the end of the winter holiday for the children event. So hopefully everyone farmed up the Ravina as well as the Lotia pieces. They weren't very hard to do. If you just did the basic milestones, like just for the gems and the other rewards, you pretty much get what you need to get both of the job pluses along the way anyway. Not a lot of going out of your way like previous job pluses have been. So I would definitely recommend both of them. Even in Ravina's case, if you don't have the limited memento, it sounds like it's pretty nice to have, but definitely not necessary. I'm going to showcase her kit in a little bit, and one of the reasons that I think that Ravina is very, very handy to have is not so much because she's like this really crazy strong character, but because she fills a role that's not commonly found in her element. Like, unless you're really lucky and you got Benario all kitted out, which is not going to describe most people. Most people are going to be kind of lacking in missile damage for water units, just because there's not a lot of options available. And then as an added bonus, Ravina is also an M attack scaler, so there's a lot of perks that come with that as well, mostly related to Letitia, and then just other magic or M attack oriented teams. Yet you could also squeeze her into like a Roxanne-led missile team. So she's got some good plus sides, and I think her kit is pretty solid. Like, I think if you did have her memento and had access to the damage snowball on attack that you'd get from the VCR, then you could probably run her as like a main damage dealer on a team. If you don't have that, she'd probably be more of like a secondary damage dealer, but still a pretty potent one, especially given the large amount of range that she has. Alright, so we are kind of wrapping up this summon. As you can see, nothing too amazing. I'm not showing all the steps because there were a few steps that just didn't have any reds, and so I just didn't show them. And as far as the reds that I did get, they were all duplicates except for the red 6 one, which I don't have her. So I'll I don't know. Might try and transmute her in the future, maybe not. But nonetheless, very good banner just for giving you the ability to max limit break any memento you want, and then also giving you another, potentially good max limit situation with the mementos they give you. Now, as you can see, I got the second Setsuna one, so that's like not the best result, but not the worst result either. When I have a little more time, I want to see if it fundamentally changes Setsuna at all. I imagine once she gets Gate 6, then that would be more potent. But I'm mostly just happy to have those winter reliefs, and I just immediately used them on Dark Nyx's memento, and then had fun clearing out the winter holiday heist level, like the EX plus on that, because 1 or sometimes 2 Dark Nyxes are really, really handy on that level. But yeah, that is about it for this little intro and the little kind of beginning spiel on Ravina. So let's go ahead and take a look at her on the unit screen. So I compiled some basic stats of Ravina's memento, just in case anybody was curious. I don't know, I imagine when most people are watching this, it's going to be too late to pull on it, but you never know when you might end up getting it. And just in case you are one of the people that catches this before reset, it might help you determine whether you want to get it or not. I would not call it must-have. I would say it's good for Ravina, but I don't think anybody really needs to have this memento, even if you got Ravina all raised up. But if you do have it, it is a very, very, very nice plus. Oh, also, the red memento that I that I cut out before it showed. It was a duplicate of Zane's New Year's Memento, just for anybody who's curious. All right, so moving on to these group skills. So it is a Lustberg Memento, which is always a plus, because Lustberg just is an excellent pool of units, especially if you're going to do magic damage, but even there's some good physical units in there too. So M defense for them, not the best, but you know, if you got nothing better to put on a Lustberg unit, I guess there's that. Agility is the base stat too, so that's always good too, to have more of those, just to get more agility on people that don't have something better. And then the more limited group skill for Ravina, Brigitta, Michael, and as always, little Ouroboros, gives M attack. Always need more of that. And then the Ravina specific one is Water, Evasion, Silence Res, which it's not hard to make water units immune to silence, but I guess you can save yourself a gear slot. And then, yeah, so that's it for that. Then we have vision abilities. There's a very, very nice one in the M attack buff enhancing when appearing on map. That's great. And then there's also a 4-hit missile attack that lowers agility. Good too. And then the VCR, I think, is the biggest like prize in this set, in that you've got HP taken care of, you get just a flat damage bonus, and then you got that snowball just on attack, which is a great type of snowball. That would really elevate her damage. But again, it's, you know, it makes a pretty good unit really good, but definitely not what I would call must-have. If I imagine a lot of people have other things that they'd want to save their gems for, so I would just keep that in mind. Okay, now let's actually go to the unit screen. Alright, and here we are at Ravina's unit screen. So first off, if you don't have the limited memento, she does also have just a normal pool memento, and I ended up pulling that a couple of times just incidentally, and it's not too bad. And the VCR from it is pretty good as well, but I'll say more about that when we get to the gears. Just more stuff that she would want: M attack, max jewels, a little bit defensive, but it also has modified missile attack power, which is good. And then for gears, since she is a gunner, she can equip Roxanne's guns, which is really good for agility, because you can get agility plus 20. So I've got her at about 185, which is definitely not bad, especially for a ranged unit. There's some other options, as far, not too many good ones, but I used to run her with the Magia Cleric gun to give her extra healing, but as you can see, the agility is way lower, and due to how her kit has changed a bit, having healing, at least for herself, is not nearly as useful, because there are going to be situations where you want her HP to be on the low side, so she does more damage with one of her moves. So instead, I went Roxy Gun. Even if it doesn't give the M attack, I think it's alright. Instead, I just went for boosting water flat out with this thing, as well as also giving total silence res, so no worries there. And then the VCR from her normal pool memento also gives modify strong versus fire, and then missile attack power, and that'll stack with a group skill from the memento. And then a little bit of jewels, as well as a barrier, which that barrier could combine well if you're going to do the move that she has where it has an HP cost. You'll see that when I showcase some of her moves. And then I don't have any runes on her right now because my time and resources are limited, so I'm taking care of my highest priority units first. But M attack, just get M attack, that's all you really need. Her attacks all scale off of M attack. She's not split the same way that other missile units might be, which is really, really good, because then that means you can get her with Letitia and just pop that M attack really high, and then if you're lucky enough to have a limited memento, she'll get more out of it as well. So as far as abilities go, I just go almost entirely her job pluses skills, except for overdrive, because that's where some of her damage comes in. Just being a ranged unit with access to that is very nice. Her gate 2 gives her M attack, which she wants, as well as increasing move and range, which that range is the big one. That's part of what makes her really awesome. And then her reactive is a little bit odd, but it is a preemptive strike that can proc on skills, which is always good. And it can lower hit rate for one turn, so that can be nice sometimes. I haven't found lowering hit rate to be incredibly effective in most instances. It seems like it's better to just kill them faster, but you never know. It could be handy in some like real specific niche instance. So let's take a look at her gates. So if you are not like just all about Ravina, then I recommend the setup that I've got here. I guess I could probably pop this up to get her evasion slightly higher. You might want her evasion on the lower side if you want her to get hit so she can do the HP scaling move, but in all honesty, I don't think a few points of evasion are going to make that big of a difference. So HP, M attack, luck. I'm not totally sure why luck is there. If anyone knows about luck scaling on her, then let me know. But more HP and M attack, she definitely wants that. As I said earlier, her gate 2 is awesome because Magia Scope's pretty good move already, for the gunner types, and then having just more M attack on top of it is very good. I don't think her leader skill is all that amazing, so I wouldn't run with that. I think there's better leader skills to run her under, like M attack boosting or missile damage boosting. Gate 4 is good. I haven't felt the need to get it yet, but if you want those stats and the damage modifiers, then go for it. Gate 5 definitely recommend because she's got good attack moves and any increase you can get to them. Shoot, I had it pulled up. I totally forgot what it does. But luckily, I've got the database pulled up right here. So, yeah, Blizzard Magia is the 2-hit missile attack that inflicts daze. And by getting Gate 5, it inflicts daze, adds strong versus fire, and lowers water res. So, yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. You definitely want to get that. I would get that first. And she's a 3-day normal farmable unit that we got for free recently, so her shards shouldn't be too scarce. If you're still getting caught up, just get those shards every day. I don't know if she'd be worth a memory access on double drops, but if it's worth it to you, it's your resources. And then Gate 6, I'd just say, and if you have both her mementos and they're both max limit break, maybe get Gate 6. Otherwise, most people would probably be fine to just 4 ticks of this for the extra HP. She does want extra HP. But yeah, that is it for her enlightenment and overview of her abilities and mementos and all that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to showcase the boss battle from the Collab event. It's like a fire elemented boss, so it's a good opportunity for a water team to shine. And I'm not going to use 100% of her moves. I'm just going to showcase her kit on a basic level. She's going to be playing the role of the secondary damage dealer after Emrys. So yeah, let's go take a look at that. Alright, so here we are at the boss battle. I have chosen my definitely not free-to-play friendly team of Emrys, Nyx, Ravina, and Alia. Well, at least 2 of them are free-to-play friendly. So yeah, Emrys is going to be the heavy hitter here, as he often is in anything where water is concerned and magic is a viable path. Definitely my favorite way to do damage in water. But because he boosts M attack with his leader skill, Ravina is still benefiting from it. So that was that wrong move. So that's a big cross AoE. And the more targets you hit, the more powerful it is. So sort of like Suzuka's move. Great for taking out 3 of those 4 guys. And we're just slowing them down. Just to make everybody have more turns. I know Ravina's already fast. And then we're going to see how fast she gets when she's quickened. Because, 185 is not like the craziest amount of agility compared to some units. But it's, it's decent. And it'll be even better. I mean, I think that the Roxanne guns really help her out a lot, because I think that 20 agility goes a long way. Because otherwise she feels like just a little bit on the slow side. But yeah, there is not a lot of complexity to her kit. Mostly she just shoots stuff. She's got the self buff that's also a disable heal curse on herself, where she is stronger while it's active, and then she's got an HP scaling move, and then she can do a little bit of CC with, daze, and she can inflict disable heal as well. But other than that, she just shoots stuff from far away, and it's just a matter of what her AoEs look like, and then what the additional effects of her move are. Like her light, if you're familiar with the Magia Gunslingers in general, they've got some elemental coverage, and then they've got moves that will buff their own M attack, and then they can also do like an M attack drain. But overall, it's just magic scaled missile damage. And, that is that. Which is nice, and if you're looking at her range, it's pretty impressive given that there's no real height advantage going on here. Okay, and if I really wanted to optimize the use of Ravina, I would definitely want to run Letitia at the same time, and then use Argentine Rusalka instead, because then that would just skyrocket her damage. But I chose Chrono Shenanigans and additional magic res down instead. So rather than buff up the units, I chose to debuff the enemy more. Another handy thing about Ravina that we're going to see fairly shortly is that since she has such a diverse range of AoEs, it can be useful for getting rid of extraneous party members if necessary, while still also hitting your enemies, without having to really go out of your way to do so. But yeah, in general, though, I definitely like her kit quite a bit. Because normally, when there's a unit that has like such a strong limited memento, I feel like, okay, well, if you got it, then you're good. And if not, you probably are better off just, not using the unit too much. Or like it might be not a good usage of your resources. But I think because Ravina has that spot of being a missile-oriented water unit, and that's just such a rare thing, that I think she can help everyone out. Maybe not in every situation. Like I don't look at her the same way I look at, say, like Emrys, where he's just like good on literally any water team, even if he's not going to be the main damage dealer, just because of his sheer number of debuffs that he does. But I think if there's an enemy you need to snipe, then she can be great at that. Also good at inflicting disable heal from a distance, which can be very, very, very useful for certain like enemies or bosses. But yeah, there we go. So she could burn her own HP. Now she's got disable heal, and then while it's active, she's got like move up, and I don't remember if it was range up or not, but all of her attacks do more damage now too. So we're going to see how much damage she does with some of her moves. And, it won't be on Emrys levels, but given her speed and the fact that, she can hit from far away, I think it's pretty respectable. So that's the one I like to pelt them with, because in this case, they're susceptible to bind, and then they're just stuck. And if you're really far away, you can be safely out of range of just popping them. Oh, also, Ainz, it just popped in. He's not even going to get a turn yet before this battle is over. Which, most of that is thanks to Emrys, but definitely Ravina got in some, pretty decent amount of damage. Like, is it the most efficient use of a unit in this battle? Probably not, but she definitely wasn't detrimental. And I would say she had a meaningful... Oh, dual regen. Also, she has dual regen while the disable heal is active. So generally speaking, you want to have fairly high MP, and then you use that move, and then you just start spamming skills. And that's about it. That's about as complicated as her kit gets. Otherwise, it's just shoot stuff. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Let's right out to the end of the battle. So that was Ravina. I like her. I don't think she's like the strongest unit ever, but I think she's really, really good. And hopefully everybody grabbed her when they had the chance. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.